Aminata did not grow up with much, but what she had, most people never learn to recognize. Her home was small. The paint peeled in quiet corners, and the kitchen light flickered when the wind pushed too hard against the windows. Meals were simple, sometimes stretched thin. Shoes were worn longer than they should have been. Money came and went like a shy visitor that never stayed too long. But every morning before the sun rose, something else filled that house. Prayer, not routine, not forced, not just words floating in the air. Power. Her mother's voice would rise first, steady and warm, speaking to God like she knew him personally, because she did. Her father followed, low and firm, declaring scriptures like promises already fulfilled. And then there was Aminata, not repeating them, not mimicking them. She had her own voice. She didn't know when it happened exactly, when God stopped being her parents, God, and became hers. But she knew he listened. She knew he answered. She knew his presence, the way you know warmth from the sun without needing to touch it. While other kids her age were scrolling endlessly or chasing approval, Aminata would sit by her window, whispering prayers into the quiet, reading scripture like it was a conversation, not an assignment. They were poor financially, but spiritually, they were rich in a way money could never imitate. The letter came on a Tuesday afternoon. A thick envelope. Heavy. Important. Her hands trembled as she held it, her name printed clearly across the front. Her mother stood behind her, one hand over her mouth. Her father stood still, like he already knew what it was. Aminata opened it slowly. And then everything changed. She had been accepted. A full scholarship, an elite Ivy League preparatory academy, one of the best in the country. A place where future leaders were shaped, where connections were made, where doors opened before you even knew to knock. A place far from everything she had ever known. Her mother cried. Her father smiled in that quiet, proud way of his. And Aminata? She felt two things at once, gratitude, and a strange, unshakable stirring deep in her spirit. Like something ahead of her wasn't just opportunity, it was assignment. The school was everything her old life wasn't. Tall glass buildings. Polished floors. Students dressed in brands she had only seen in passing. Confidence filled the air, but not the kind rooted in peace. The kind built on status. She noticed it immediately. The looks. The subtle whispers. The way people sized her up within seconds. Her simple clothes. Her quiet demeanor. Her presence that didn't quite blend in. But Aminata wasn't there to blend in. She was there because God opened the door. And she walked through it like she belonged. Her dorm assignment came quickly. Room 317. 3 girls. 3 beds. A fresh start, or so it seemed. The first roommate she met was Layla. Friendly, talkative, a little nervous, but kind. The kind of girl who smiled too much when she didn't know what else to do. "Thank God you're here," Layla whispered the first night, her eyes darting nervously toward the third bed. Aminata followed her gaze. "Empty. Where's the other girl?" Aminata asked. Layla hesitated. "She comes when she wants." That was all she said. It was close to midnight when the door creaked open. Aminata wasn't asleep. She rarely slept deeply in unfamiliar places. She felt it before she saw her. A shift. The air thickened, like something unseen had entered with her. Footsteps. Slow. Measured. Intentional. Aminata turned her head slightly. The girl stood in the doorway for a moment, before stepping fully inside. Isatu. Her presence was wrong. Not loud, not chaotic. Controlled. Too controlled. Her eyes scanned the room, lingering on Aminata just a second too long. No greeting, no smile. Just a quiet, knowing look. And then she walked to her bed and sat down. The silence that followed wasn't normal. It pressed. The next few days revealed more than words ever could. Whispers spread quickly across campus. Room 317. The room no one kept for long. Girls requested transfers. Some left in the middle of the night. Others refused to explain why. "It's just rumors." Lila insisted one evening, though her voice didn't quite believe it. But Aminata had already begun to notice things slightly out of place. Cold drafts in closed rooms. The way Isatu watched, not just with her eyes, but like she was studying something deeper. And then there were the dreams. Aminata didn't scare easily, but these weren't normal dreams. They felt real. Heavy. Oppressive. Like something was trying to reach her, but couldn't quite touch her. One morning she woke up with a sharp sting across her arm. She sat up quickly. Her breath caught. Faint marks. Thin. Red. Like scratches. Her heart pounded, not from fear, but from recognition. This wasn't random. That night Aminata didn't sleep. She prayed. Not quietly, not passively, with authority. Scripture flowed from her lips like fire, truth meeting resistance in the unseen. And for the first time since arriving, she felt it clearly. Opposition. It happened 2 nights later. The confrontation. The room was dim, shadows stretching across the walls. Lila was asleep, or at least pretending to be. Isatu sat on her bed, watching. Waiting. Aminata stood slowly, calm, steady. "I know," she said, her voice cutting through the silence. Isatu tilted her head slightly, a faint smile touching her lips. "Know what?" she asked softly. Aminata stepped forward. "You've chased everyone else out of this room." Silence. "But I'm not leaving." Something shifted in Isatu's expression. Something darker. Aminata didn't stop. "And whatever you've been trying," she continued, her voice growing stronger, "it won't work on me." The air tightened. Heavy. Charged. Then Isatu stood. Slowly. Deliberately. The room seemed smaller now, closer, as if something unseen had drawn near. Aminata met her gaze, unflinching, and then, with boldness that didn't come from her alone, she spoke. "Haven't they told you?" Her voice carried weight now, authority that made the atmosphere tremble. "He reproved kings for my sake." A pause. "Touch not my anointed." The words didn't just land, they echoed, and something unseen reacted. Isatu's smile disappeared. For the first time, she looked uncertain, but then the lights flickered, once, twice, and suddenly, everything went dark. Aminata didn't move, didn't speak, didn't panic. But in the darkness, something moved. Closer. And this time, it wasn't just watching. Spiritual authority is a must-have. What has been the standout to you in this story so far? Engage with us in the comments.